you're trying to provoke your enemies and terrify your so-called allies, you'd probably pick Nancy Pelosi as your representative in Taiwan. Is that the goal of this trip? Could it be that Tony Blinken and Barack Obama and the rest of the people who are actually running the Biden administration without the knowledge of Joe Biden, we can't remember anything at this point, could it be that all these people know perfectly well how reckless this is, know perfectly well what the effects could be, and they're doing it not just in spite of those effects, but because of those effects, because actually, at least on some gut level, they want to hasten the end of American hegemony, which is to say, the end of the U.S. as we know it. That would explain why they sent Kamala Harris, of all people, to avert a war in Ukraine, knowing full well that Kamala Harris would read the notes they wrote for her and insist that Ukraine join NATO and then guarantee that Russia invades Ukraine, constricts the world's energy and food markets, and makes us weaker. Maybe they knew that would happen. Maybe they're not that stupid. Maybe that would also explain why they sent Nancy Pelosi over to Taiwan effectively as the administration's representative, even though Nancy Pelosi rivals Kamala Harris in her inability to form a coherent thought. So the question is China bluffing? What if they're not? What if in response to Pelosi's totally pointless trip to Taiwan, the Chinese decide to seize the Kinmen Islands, which are now governed by Taiwan and whose defense we've implicitly and effectively guaranteed for 75 years? Well, that could actually happen. The Chinese government is already making the kind of noises you would expect it to make before doing something like that. If you are trying to give Beijing a pretext to seize Taiwan, this is exactly the kind of trip you would take. And what would happen if Beijing seized Taiwan? Well, it'd be a humanitarian disaster for the Taiwanese. They would lose any semblance of self-determination. Democracy would die. So that's bad. But more to the point, it would be a disaster for us. For us, because it would make, and this has been the effect of virtually every policy to come out of the Biden administration, it would make China more powerful. How powerful is China? We understate their power, actually. China already makes 90% of the world's antibiotics. It makes 80% of the world's lithium batteries. 96% of the shipping containers used to transport goods across the world, mostly from China, are made in China. But one thing China does not yet control is the semiconductor industry.